Hey guys. I wouldn't say it was a real celebratory locker room, but yeah, I liked our energy early in the game. It was something. It was a point of emphasis after Wednesday night's game versus Mississippi State. I thought we allowed them to pass the ball and dribble the ball and get to whatever spots they wanted, and we didn't impose our will at all defensively in that game. And I think we had 15 deflections at halftime and turned them over 16 times. So that was a real positive. Unfortunately, it just didn't translate into points. I think due to how we shot the ball at the free throw line, and that was kind of fairly consistent throughout the whole game. So it's just a little puzzling because we were not really doing that in Europe or in our scrimmages. So it's just this kind of surfaced out of nowhere. So I could attribute it to new players, new environment, and hopefully that's not something that is going to be an issue for us because I think we're a better free throw shooting team than what we showed tonight. But I think that was played a major role, putting a lot of pressure on our offense in that game.
Are you talking about offense in general as the puzzling, or the free throw specifically?
The free throws specifically, and then we missed some layups too. We shot it a touch better, just a fraction better from three tonight than we did on Wednesday. And Zane's had a tough off season. He's dealt with a foot issue and missed a lot of time. And I was happy to see him come in and hit a couple of shots. I thought those were very timely 3-point shots that he hit when we were struggling to score there in the second half.
What did you like from Zoe in the game? He had 7 stocks tonight.
7, sorry.
Steals and blocks stocks.
Yeah. He was, he's what we need him to be in that way. He got off to a good start too. Hit a couple of shots early in the game. I thought he might have carried that confidence throughout the whole game on at the offensive end. But defensively, that's why he's such a valuable player for us with his interchangeability on defense, ability to impact the game at that end of the floor.
Do you feel like you got a better feel for your roster from a rotational standpoint today?
I'm still figuring it out, and I think when you infuse Jose Perez this late, it long term it's going to be really good. In the short term, there's going to be you're trying to develop that chemistry and kind of get a feel for what he knows in our offense, and he's trying to adjust to play with new teammates. I think he's going to have a really strong impact on what we do as we keep going. But yeah, we're still finding ourselves right now. I would say that, and also anytime you get kind of punched in the mouth like we did on Wednesday night, and there's sometimes a carryover effect, and it didn't affect our defense tonight, but offensively we were still very shaky. I'd be scared to look at the metrics to see where we stand offensively after 2 games, but we're going to work really hard to fix some of those issues and making sure we get better at that end of the floor.
I know you said it was a point of emphasis after Wednesday, the defense. I think 7 of their first 10 possessions were turnovers, maybe to start the game. But when the offense is shaky, how obviously helpful is that?
Yeah, I mean, I saw when we went to that pressure in the second half versus Mississippi State, it really got us going. I think it got us more into the game. I don't know how much you could do that, for the long term. It's going to be very selective with how we choose to pressure our opponent in that way, but it was effective early in the game. It got us some momentum early, so it was a positive.
Coach, it has felt like Frankie's been struggling with the shooting recently, and especially in the last couple of games. How nice was it to see him drain those kind of couple of threes late to kind of maybe open up the hoop for him?
Yeah, I think they occurred down the stretch late in the game as we needed them. So I think like any point guard does that is a winning player, when you have an opportunity to give your team a chance to win, you become a shot maker like he was late in the game to hit those shots.
Coach, you got 20 rebounds from your guards tonight. Was that sort of Frankie, Jemiah, and Jose tonight? Was that kind of a point of emphasis this offseason?
Well, they all have the ability to do it. I talked about that at media day with Frankie and Jemiah. With their size and athletic ability, they should be able to get to the board, and Jose is physical, and so those guys should chip in, and it helps us if we have, Alonso and Sean Phillips challenging shots. We need those guards cracking down and getting in there, get those rebounds. So it's important to what we're doing.
On the offensive side, how much do you think it is right now just guys getting into a flow on the offensive side instead of maybe trying to force it at times when it kind of gets stagnant?
I mean, I think it's as simple in the first half as if we shoot 75% from the free throw line and make a couple of layups that we miss, we have 40 points, and then we're going into halftime maybe feeling better about ourselves and that end of the floor. And it was a snowball effect of missing free throws that kind of carried over into other parts of our offense, and then and we didn't guard anybody to start the second half. If you noticed, I think at the 12-minute mark they already had 18 points, and they had 20 in the first half total. So we didn't guard right out of the chute to start the second half. So it's early in the season. I'm glad that we were able to win this game, and now we have some time to practice and get guys more acclimated and figure out a way to get better.
Coach, how impressed are you by Kamari's ability to the beginning of his stint at ASU now, having a couple of big games for you guys offensively? Is that something you're looking for him to do this year?
Yeah, he's very even keeled out there. He's very composed. He's a guy that can put the ball in the basket, which we obviously need, and we're breaking down his film, just wanting him to be a complete player and talking about all the other areas that he could help us, and I think he was better in that regard tonight relative to our last game. But yeah, he is going to be a guy that we certainly need to put points on the board, and then I got my fingers crossed and my toes crossed and everything for Adam Miller to hopefully get good news on the waiver front with him, because he's just really excited for the opportunity, the potential of getting out there and joining his teammates, and he's disappointed. Obviously, he's missed the last 2 games.
Do you have a timeline for when you may hear back on Adam?
You don't know, and you're not sure, and in terms of the NCAA's process, and there's a lot of cases like his that they're evaluating. So it's we're hopeful that we do hear something soon.
Akil Watson, Brendan Green, 2 of the freshmen on this roster making their debut. How do you feel they made an impact in this game today?
I thought Akil came in right away and he got a steal, and he was active, and that's what we need from those guys as freshmen. They got to come in the game and play defense and active with their hands, and both of those guys, I thought, for the minutes they had, came in and took advantage of that.
Coach, Zane, another player that had more time on the court today, you made a couple big shots in the second half. What gave you the confidence to give him that opportunity?
Well, he's a veteran player, and you wouldn't expect a guy that's played as much college basketball as he has to be concerned about time and score, and those things aren't impacting him. He's kind of knows who he is at this point as a player, and he was able to do part of why we brought him here, just being able to make perimeter shots at that position. He had 2 of them, 2 big shots.
I know you're big on kind of tone-setting wins in the non-conference. What does it mean for you, just that for the identity of this team, that you beat a team that's been to the tournament 7 times in the last 10 years?
Yeah, and Texas Southern is a team that is going to scrap and fight, and they have good athletes, and they usually win 1 or 2 games a year like this. So, and unfortunately, it was us last year. It's part of the reason we had to go to Dayton. But it was good to obviously just put this game behind us. Usually after a win, we're happier. I didn't feel like the locker room overall was very pleased with what we just did, even though we won, and that's what I hope to see, because I don't want that to be the standard, because it's unacceptable for us to do some of the things we did statistically in this game and have any expectation of beating an elite opponent that's in our future.
Coach, in the pressers, before the season started, we talked a lot about finding the identity of this team. After this game, would you say that the identity is kind of, scrappy, hardworking, that defensive end? Would you say that they're kind of filling in that identity?
It's still a work in progress, and again, we have a bunch of guys that are trying to find themselves. Some guys are in new roles, like Jemiah's in a new role, and it's new expectations for him, and so I thought he had his moments tonight that were, he was far better than he was on Wednesday, and just hope that he keeps taking steps and you know, guys like Jose, I mean, the last time he played was 2 years ago, and he was, you know, he was the man at Manhattan, so he's adjusting to new teammates and only being here a couple of weeks. So, you know, I think over time this team will grow and get better if we have the commitment, you know, to do that.
Coach, speaking of changes, Zane Meeks was obviously top 3 in scoring with the Dons last season on that tournament team. He had 3 shot attempts today in 9 minutes. Do you see him becoming a bigger part of your like off the bench scoring, or is that kind of dependent on like his foot and just like getting healthy?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be on him getting back. I liked his minutes in the second half, and certainly you know, he's in a new environment, a new system, a new offense, and he's got to learn it. And I had more confidence that he's picking things up quicker, you know, to give me the confidence to get him out on the floor.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Got Frankie Collins, Kamari Lands in here. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll open up to questions.
For either one of you guys, Coach was saying it wasn't a real celebratory locker room. How do you guys describe the feeling after this one?
I mean, I feel like it was a good win, just a good one on the board. But like I said, like we were saying in the locker room, we definitely just got a lot to improve on. You know, like we know where we can be and we know where we need to be. Like I said, we're just building to that. So just like the loss we had before, we couldn't dwell on that. We also can't just celebrate and stick to this. We got to improve. So I think that's what the message he was trying to pull across. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. So we also got to, like, you know, be positive with each other. Like, we did pull out a win. You know.
What was one of the things you talked about Kamari, a lot to work on, you guys talked about in the locker room. What was like the number one thing in the locker room now you guys said you got to work on this for next game?
I feel like we need to start closing out games when we got leads. I feel like that's the main thing. Our offensive execution is number 2. I just feel like we were up 10. You know, we were up 10 in the second half, and then we let them go on an 8-0 run. Like, that ain't right. And like also, we got to start having our energy reciprocated in both halves. Like, first half we had great energy. You know, getting out of pass lane stuff. In the second half, we kind of slowed that down. They kind of started getting threes. So just stuff like that.
Frankie, 8 rebounds tonight as a guard. How important do you think it is to be a do-it-all guard for this team?
I think I just got to be that guy who steps up. You know, as a point guard, I got to be the leader. So if I'm a leader, that means I got to do everything across the board and lead by example. So I mean, if I go in there and rebound, then hopefully that means some of my other guards will go in there and help out rebound.
Frankie, as a leader on this team, now that you're through two games, you know, lots of new guys, how do you see the team develop?
I think it's going to develop how we want it to. I just think we got to take our time. You know, it takes time. We just added a new player about a month ago, so we just got to figure out our offense. You know, and just try and just play hard all the time. You know, that's one thing we're lacking right now is not consistently playing hard. So I think if we just be consistent and just go out there, play hard, you know, play for each other, I think we'll be good along the days.
Frankie, you mentioned stepping up as a leader late in games or whatever, but in the second half, a couple of big threes for you. Is that something you always look to do in those kind of games where you need to go and get a bucket? You're like, all right, this is going to be my time to get a bucket, or you just kind of happen that way?
I don't look at it as like it's my time to go get a bucket, but I mean, if we're struggling to get a bucket or the team is making a run and it needs to be shut down, I think I'll just go out there and do whatever needs to be done and stop that run or, you know, get us going. Whether it's a step back shot or it's a drive into the lane, getting inside the lane and kicking it out, just making the right play just so we can be on the right side of this game.
Frankie, you know, obviously you are a transfer, and there's so many transfers on this team this year over the summer. Can you kind of touch on like is there growing pains kind of adapting to Hurley's team coming from a different squad like you guys like Jose Perez or Meeks have over the offseason, or are you guys kind of clicking off the gate?
I think we've clicked pretty well, but like I said, I mean, we got a whole new team and we just added someone new and added Jose, so we just gotta stick together, man. Just stay the path. You know, everything's gonna fall in line. You want to be great now, but you really want to be great when March. You want to be great when it's February, January. That's around the time where you want to be clicking and on the right page. That's when it's winning time.
And obviously this non-con, you guys set yourself up with 2 back-to-back tournament teams. UMass Lowell had a good season last year. You guys have Northwestern, a lot of others on the docket. How is that going to prepare you for Pac-12 competition against, say, Arizona, USC, and the likes of those teams?
I think it'll prepare us because now with all those teams, we're getting different types of defense and different types of offense. So many different styles we can play against. And then when you get in the Pac-12, you got teams that play slow. You got teams that play up and down. You got teams that shoots the lights out. Teams that deny you and get in the passing lanes and take you out your offense. So I think with our schedule coming up, it prepares us really well for the conference.
Kamari, the way you guys pressure defensively, especially early in the game, what do you think that does for this team?
I feel like with our length and our switching ability and our athleticism, it'll make it easier for us on defense. So, like you said, they can't get into the offense. And, you know, we can take people out their offenses, make it hard for them, make them shoot tough shots. And I feel like last game we didn't do that at all. We let them do whatever they wanted, and it proved. So, like I said, I feel like from now on we got to make teams uncomfortable the whole game. So.
Frankie, today was the first game that you, Jemiah, and Alonzo started all 3 together this year. How did that feel in terms of comfort with chemistry carrying over from last year, just stuff like that?
I think it felt good because, I mean, as you can see, it carried over because, you know, we played together for like last year and it carried over to now. You see how our energy was defensively, how we got stops early. You know, we just out there running and everything looked fluid. So if we just continue to keep us 3 rolling and then get the other guys involved with us, I think we'll be fine.
How were you guys able to limit like free throws and getting and fouls while also still being aggressive on defense? Because they only had 7 free throw shots this game. So.
It's just something that Coach Kimbrough preaches to us is smart pressure. So you pressure without fouling. You know, you gotta be able to defend without fouling. Simple as that.
Frankie, did you guys change anything up defensively from Wednesday to today, just in terms of aggressiveness?
Yeah, I think it kind of, our second half of the Mississippi State game kind of carried over to this half. We won the second half against them, but it's just because our pressure was there. You know, we were trapping, we were flying around, we were being a team full of grit. So I think if we just continue to have ball pressure, stay in the lanes, and just be aggressive, we'll be fine.
17 points for you guys off the fast break today. How important is it from a momentum standpoint to get up and down the floor like that?
I think it's very important because we got so many guys that's athletic and can go get on the rim. So if we can go get out in transition, you know, get a couple threes in transition, or whether get a couple dunks or layups, I think it'll provide a spark for us in the half court or even on the defensive end.
Anything else? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all.